Hi, this is Christina Luce, the K-8 Instructional Technology Specialist in Liverpool. And in this episode, we're going to check out the Classwork page in Google Classroom and specifically take a look at how to post an assignment. When you create an assignment, you can post it immediately, save a draft, or schedule it to post at a later date. After students complete and turn in their work, you can grade it and return it to the students. So let's take a look. I'm going to go to the Create button. I'm going to go to Assignment. And here I'm going to give the assignment a title. And so the title of this assignment is Math About Me. And I'm going to give some instructions. I want the students to complete the attached template. And now I'm going to add the template that I've already created. I'm going to go to Add, and I'm going to click Google Drive. And so right now you can see it's pulling up my most recent items. And so here is my Math About Me assignment. I'm going to select that one, and I'm going to insert it. And so right now, the default is that students can view the file, but I actually want them to create within this file itself. And so I actually need a copy for each of my students. So I'm going to click on that down arrow, and this second choice, students can edit file, actually would mean that every student in my classroom is going to be editing the same Google slide deck. And so that's not what I want in this case. In this case, I want a copy for each individual student. So I'm going to choose Make a Copy for each student. Then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to choose the class. Again, if I had multiple sections of the same course and I was going to use the same assignment, I can actually push that out all at once. I can also choose individual students to receive this assignment, and this way differentiate for my students so that they all get exactly what they need. So I might choose a different assignment that has a little additional scaffolding for some of my students. If I was working with a small group, maybe I'm just going to push out a remediation assignment to a specific group. So I can really control who this assignment goes to. I'm also going to choose a grade category. So for this one, it's not a test. I'm going to count it as daily work. And then I'm going to assign either points or I'm going to go ungraded. So I'm going to give this points and I'm going to make it out of 10. And I'm going to give it a due date. So I'm going to choose next Wednesday. And then the time is optional. So I'm going to set a time of 3 p.m. And then I'm going to choose my topic. So this is one of my first assignments. It's probably going to happen in Unit 1, Week 1. So I'm going to click on that. And then down here, I have some additional options. So if this was an assignment that I was going to use a rubric to score, I could click on Add Rubric. And you'll notice that I can create the rubric within Google Classroom. Once I've created a rubric, I'll have the ability to reuse it again, or I could import a rubric from Google Sheets. So if you're using a rubric to score, you can create one ahead of time and then reuse it, or you can create one on the fly. Here, check for plagiarism or originality reports. I don't need to check for plagiarism in this particular assignment. If I do, I'm going to click that, and then it's going to give the student an option to run an originality report and to check for plagiarism even before they hand it in to me. So if that's something you're interested in, you would click that on there. When it comes to assigning, as I said earlier, you can assign it immediately. You can save the draft, just like we've done in other things, or we can schedule it to appear at another time. I'm going to click Assign. And it takes just a minute to update. And so now you're going to see, here's this Math About Me. And as we talked about in some of the other episodes, I do have the ability, I can click on this button here and I can go in and I can make edits. I could copy the link to that specific assignment to send it out, and I could move this assignment down. So I'm actually going to move this assignment down because I want that question to be at the top. So I'm going to move it down. And again, I just want to remind you that right now I'm looking at all of the topics in my classwork, but I could just go to this Unit 1, Week 1, and there I'm just going to see those items that I've tagged for that particular topic. Again, from this view, I can also see how many students have turned it in, how many students it's been assigned to, and I can actually access this here. So creating an assignment, pretty straightforward, pretty easy. Um, I can also, I'm going to go back, I can actually create another type of assignment. And so the other assignment that I can create is a Kami assignment. So I'm going to click on Kami assignment. And it takes just a minute to load here. And you notice this looks a little bit different because it's a Kami assignment that's being run through Google Classroom through that integration. So a lot of the same abilities as I have with a Google Classroom assignment. I can choose the class that I want it sent to. I can choose which students it's going to be assigned to, and I can publish it or I can save the draft. So right now I'm just going to make this a draft, and this is going to be, I'm just going to say a math worksheet A. Okay, so I'm giving them some directions and I'm telling them that they can send me any questions that they might have using the comment features. So within Kami, there are some video comments, text comments, audio comments. So students can use those if they're struggling on a particular problem, they can let me know that as they're completing it. Also, there is the ability for students to comment, send you private comments in Google Classroom once they have the assignment. So it's a great way to be able to provide some of that feedback in real time. So this item up here, feature restrictions, if I click on this, if I was assigning a test through Kami and I wanted to limit some of the features that were available to them, so maybe I didn't want them to be able to use text to speech for some reason, or I didn't want a specific annotation tool to be used, I can turn some of these things on and off. So right now, there aren't any restrictions. I want students to have access to the full complement of tools in Kami, so I'm just going to click OK. Now I'm going to come back in here, and you'll notice again I have the ability to assign points, or I can make it ungraded. So I'm going to leave that at 100 this time. I'm going to choose a due date. And this is what's a little bit different. So Kami works on like military time or the 24-hour clock. So I'm going to say 1,500 hours. And then I have even greater options here. Within that, I can go, okay, so 305 or 325 or 330. So I'm going to click 330. And then scheduled. Am I going to send it out now? And then topic. So again, I'm going to say, well, let's put this as Unit 1 again. We'll choose that. And then I want to upload the PDF, the document that I want students to use. So I'm going to go here. And now I'm going to be able to select a file. So I'm going to put in, and you'll notice too that I can limit to just the PDFs. I can go back to my recents again. And so I'm going to pull up this one here. I'm going to click select. And so right now, here's the document that I wanted students to annotate. And notice it says make a copy for each student, and that's the recommended. So the reason why I want to make a copy for each student is because I don't want the students to annotate my original, and I don't want them making annotations on one document altogether. So again, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to click assign. Now, Cami is probably going to pop this up, probably at least the first time that you use it within Google Classroom, that it needs permission. So we're going to authorize Google Drive. And you're just going to scroll down and you're going to click Allow. And even though it says please close the window, it's going to close it automatically for you. And so now the assignment is created. So tip, send your students this link with instructions on how to use Cami in Google Classroom. So that might be something that I would actually post in my reference section, but you'll also notice that, or maybe you noticed that I had ticked the box that sends the directions to students. So that's been something that they've kind of added, because I know there were definitely some questions in the spring when we first started the remote teaching and learning. Kids were struggling a little bit with how to use Cami effectively. So if I click that, it's going to open in Classroom and take me to another window. So now you can see, here's that math worksheet. I saved it as a draft. So if I want to go in and edit, I can do that. If I want to move it up and down again within my topic, I can do that as well. That's how you create assignments in Google Classroom.